ended, we have given the participants time for prototype building.
Right. And this is for AIT students, or are we opening it to other people as well?
So Startup Saga is inter-college event.
Ah, fantastic. Good. Hey, Abhishek.
Hello, Abhijeet. How are you? Shraddha here.
Hey. Good afternoon, ma'am. That's why I thought it sounded like you, but I couldn't replace your logo. Hello, ma'am.
The slide looks too good.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm going to try and make today's session a little different than most. Let's see, let me put my mobile on mute. Actually, typically I like to put some kind of cartoon or something while people are waiting. So let me put that up. All right, you can enjoy this cartoon while we wait. So this cartoon, anybody follows Dilbert here? Anybody reads, follows the blog? Nope. It's a good one. So once you get to the corporate world, somebody does. Once you get to the corporate world, a lot of these things we thought like to be cartoons will suddenly start looking very real, and you'll think that you're living inside a Dilbert strip. Okay, so it's good to make fun of ourselves when things are looking a little tricky. Nobody follows Dilbert. That's strange. Incidentally, the author of Dilbert, Scott Adams, is not just a cartoonist. He's a pretty good person to listen to. He does talks like TED talks and all. He writes very serious books also, right? But his greatest claim to fame is a Dilbert comic strip.
I know this comics. I didn't know the cartoonist, but I know this, but I have not really followed it.
Oh,
I
all right.
few
I'll, I'll
others.
I'll share the blog, ma'am, and I'll share a couple of books not related to Dilbert that the same guy has written. So it's good. It's, you really do feel that you're one of the characters after a few years in the job. And they've taken one stereotype. So one is a very dedicated engineer, one is a pointy head manager who doesn't know anything but always doesn't want to tell his people he doesn't know anything. Then there is a PA to the boss. Whenever boss is on leave, the PA bosses everybody around. So it's all very relatable.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know. Sure. Today also, Abhijit, in the morning we met very interesting professionals, rather entrepreneurs. This
Right.
Saturday, today we met 4, and last Saturday also we met 3. So it was very interesting. Very, everybody had a very unique insight and very subtle things they were sharing. It was really very fascinating to meet them.
Wow, I feel like I'm missing out on a lot of good value. I should be attending these,
Very,
but something or other is going on right now.
everybody in a different phase of their journey, very different domain, and everybody had a very unique thing to share. I've found that very fascinating actually. And still, all of them were so much in sync with each other. Very aligned to that काय म्हणू त्याला एंटरप्रिनरशिप काय म्हणू एथिक्स म्हणू किंवा ते जे काही आहे वॉट एव्हर दॅट स्टँड्स फॉर
Right.
व्हेरी इंटरेस्टिंग.
I think ultimately, ma'am, a lot of good things get distilled down to a set of core principles and core lessons. Uh, वही theme हमें कई बार ही दिखाई देती है, no matter what we do or who we talk to. But it's good to have that same thing validated. That I'm not alone who thinks this way. So it's great to hear all these thoughts.
Very true. And all of them very humble about their achievements, very ready to help others, very collaborative approach. खूप छान. So it was very nice to see all of them like that.
Definitely. So actually, this is a good thing. I wanted to add some examples here, but I think this entire thing is worth a session itself about this, core principle of helping somebody. So a while ago, almost 15-20 years ago, many big companies के अंदर Forbes वगैरह ने survey किया था, and they spoke to levels of leadership, to right down to the grassroots worker, and they asked a survey. They had asked many questions, but one of the question was, what is the one thing that helps you grow the best in your career? And a very surprising answer came back, that the largest number of answers was ki if you help others grow, you get to grow very well. So, and that was a surprise to the people who started the survey. That was very unselfish kind of thing that came out on top. But I think to a large extent that's true. If we are trying to grow alone, then to some extent we'll go and stop. But if we are growing
Very,
with people, आपका जो पिरामिड का फाउंडेशन है ना, वो बढ़ता जाता है. द लॉन्गर द ब्रॉडर द बेस ऑफ योर पिरामिड, द हायर यू कैन रेज द कोन, राइट?
nicely said, huh? I could visualize it, Abhijeet. Very nicely said.
Right.
Very.
So this is something to learn. How do you help others, right?
Samik, how long you will make Abhijeet sir wait?
Ma'am, we can start. Ayush is ready.
All right.
So we can start, sir. So greetings from I&E Cell. You must have observed a few of your friends or colleagues shine apart from the whole group. Their unique personalities and perception make you admire them. Well, that trait is that of an outlier. That means a person who stands apart from the group. And to discuss more about this, we have invited our alumni, Mr. Abhijeet sir, to speak on the topic going mildly successful to wildly successful. Welcome, sir. Sir has been an outlier from young age, and now he's the founder and director at CopperCloud. CopperCloud provides IoT services like industry automation, smart space training and education, and much more. So without delay, I will hand over the stage to Abhijeet sir to start our webinar. Thank you, sir.
Thanks so much, Ayush. Thanks to the ecell. Thanks to Shraddha ma'am for mentoring this team. I'm really liking the way. Unfortunately, I'm not able to attend too many of these events, but I'm very happy to see the direction this is going. I wish I would be able to attend more of these. So, but once again, welcome to the session. So when Abhishek asked me, that sir, can you talk to the team for a bit? I'm a talker, right? I always love to talk. This also gives me a chance to interact. So in all my 16 years in HSBC IT, I was the one thing I did a lot of interesting things as part of my job. But the one thing I couldn't do enough of is interact with people who are outside of my immediate circle. All right, and that is why I took every single opportunity to go and conduct interviews, or go and do site visits, or things like this, which allowed me to open up the circle of people we are talking to. So that's why that same drive continues here also. So this session, I told Abhishek that let me do something new. I've never done this session before. I've done bits and pieces of it because me and my colleagues were doing a campus to corporate mentorship program for a non-profit we had set up for many colleges. In AIT also, I've done that session about 6 years ago. So I thought I'd pull some elements there, but then I thought, no, let's do something more interesting. All right. So I thought, let me present this mildly successful to wildly successful, and let's see what I really mean by that. Okay. And Ayush have rightly said, outlier is a statistical term. Okay, it comes from a single point which stands quite apart from everything else in the graph. You can't draw a line through that because the line goes to the averages. And outlier is either outstandingly high or outstandingly low, one of the other. All right. So that's what this session is about. Just a quick quality check. So my audio, video, and slide, are we okay there?
Yes, sir. We all are okay with that.
Fantastic. So not a very long session, hopefully. Let's get started. So what is this session about, right? See, success is relative, all right? Because the more success you have, the more relatives you get. But more seriously, nothing is an absolute failure or nothing is an absolute success, correct? And in the corporate world, we say कि एक बार ही project approve हो गया, तो उसी दिन successful हो गया. Because once people commit $100,000 to a project, nobody's gonna call it a failure. All right, everybody will be successful, everybody will get promotions and everything. But there are degrees of success, correct? So right from, okay, we just barely got even, it didn't crash and burn, correct? Or we say, wow, this is beyond anybody's expectations. It's wildly successful. So you can be mildly successful and that is fine. Okay, nothing against it. Or you could be wildly successful. And then again, your definition of success is your own. Let nobody ever tell you that, to be successful, you need to be X, Y, or Z, or you need to do A, B, or C. Your success is yours alone. Whether you define it in terms of the kind of work that you're doing, whether it's in terms of the people you surround yourself with, whether it's in terms of how much money you're making for yourself or for somebody else, whatever else, it's yours. Whether you're scoring very high marks in academics, entirely yours. Okay, in anything there are certain principles you will need, right? A lot of the principles we are familiar with. Okay, and I call them the panchatantra principles because we have been, we have grown along. If you have grown up in a western society, you know them as Aesop's fables, correct? And if
Yes.
you have grown up in an Indic society, then you know them as panchatantra principles. So this is there, right? Now, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, it was enough to have Panchatantra principles to be successful because not many people would know, but people couldn't manifest those principles in their work. But today, guys, let me tell you the truth. Everybody is good at their job, right? It becomes very difficult to say कि अच्छा ये बंदा अच्छा है या ये बंदी काम में अच्छी है. काम में सभी अच्छे हैं. अगर कोई काम में अच्छा नहीं है तो उनके पास आज काम नहीं है. So that's because we have inculcated after a few generations, we have inculcated in this in our everyday works. Okay, so this is not, I don't need to tell you this, all of these values are there. I'm here to tell you something else which probably is a bit unconventional wisdom. This is there in all management books, no doubt about it, right? This I'm going to tell you from what I have observed in 16 years, and I've been trying to practice, where I've been successful. To some extent, I've been wildly successful. Where I've not been able to implement, I've been mildly successful. Okay, but I know what needs to be done, whether or not I've been able to do it or not. Okay, so where we get stuck with the Panchatantra principles, you can be 70% successful, 75% successful, but you want to get to 99. All right. So there's a very good book that P. Edgerton has written, that what got you here won't get you there. Beyond the point, Panchatantra principles or any kind of effort or time or money investment will plateau you out. It's called a law of diminishing returns. You don't, that's why Six Sigma. Why don't we do Six Sigma for birdhouses? There's too much effort for that kind of quality. So most of the people are going to be at the lower end of the ladder where they're saturated and they're happy. There's nothing wrong with being there. I'm not trying to be judgmental that everybody should climb to the top. Maybe that is the top, right? But if you do want to bridge that divide, then you need a new set of skills. Okay, what does it take to go from a project manager to a CXO, for example? Or what does it take to be a very successful CXO or a VP to a founder of a new company where you start climbing a new hill altogether? So you're at the top of your own hill, but you need to climb down and start climbing a new hill from the bottom up, right? What does it take to entirely leave, let's say, military careers? Many of our parents go through that transition and pick up and again rise to the top of a new career. You need a new set of skills, not in place of the old, in addition to whatever you already have. Correct? I'm here to talk about that missing piece of the ladder. All right. And once again, some of you may have wondered, कि यार ये क्या बंदा है अभिजीत करके. Most people start talking about success by showing you the figure of Everest. All right, peak of something. That's there, that's success. But I'm here to show you what ladders you need to cross, right? When you come to a crevasse, when you come to a valley, and you don't have the requisite skills to get to the other side. Once you get to the other side, all of us have the core values to reach the top. But what kind of unconventional ladders you need, I'm here to tell you that, okay? And which is why the picture of the ladder, not the Everest, okay? And some of these ladders will be there for you, which other people have placed who have gone before you. Some of these ladders you have to carry on your back as you go through. Some of these ladders you have to build when you reach the crevasse, okay, because you forgot to carry it with you. You take it in that spirit, all right? And let's have some fun while we go through this. So I have got 6 lessons. To be frank, I wanted to add 15, but I didn't have any number of hours here. So I'm trying to fit this in 1 hour. I'm going to do it a little differently because although the lessons are coming from observations that I have made in the working principle for 16 years, I have picked a few movie clips to deliver those lessons, right?
Sure.
And I'm sure it'll be interesting. Once again, the lessons don't come from the movies; the lessons come from the real world. But movie clips are a channel to deliver the message. Okay. And once again, I'll just reiterate: I'm not an expert in anything. All right, but I am a very good observer of people. All right, and I have observed what people do to be wildly successful, what people do because of a really good thing they had going and they really crashed and burnt. Some of them I have imbibed in my career. I'm not saying I've done all of this well, but I've observed this, and I can tell you with a guarantee that if you adopt even a few of these, you will see a stellar change in how you do anything, right? On top of the Panchatantra principles. So the first lesson for today is tie your work and your decisions to a bigger objective. What I mean by a bigger objective, correct? You are doing something. Somebody has told you to create a PCB, right? Or somebody has told you to write a program. Now, most of us, 80% of us, are very happy accomplishing that job. A very few of us will say, why are we doing this? What is the bigger objective? Okay. Creating a PCB is not an objective. Writing a program is not an objective. Maybe your program is there to convert an HTML page into a braille reader so that blind people can read it. Correct? Maybe your PCB is going to sit in a truck which is going to detect missiles coming into your country, right? What is the bigger objective? And sometimes you will find that there's a better way to get to the bigger objective. All right, and what you're doing may have been the work that somebody else gave to you, but you have to tie your work and decisions to a bigger objective. I'm going to deliver this through a movie clip from the movie Saving Private Ryan. For those of you who have not watched it, there's a bunch of troops in Second World War who were sent to save one soldier and bring them back to the camp. And what happened was, while they were on the way, they came across a German enemy camp, and the leader of the troop says, "No, no, we can't go ahead with the original mission. We have to neutralize this enemy. Otherwise, the next troops that come this way will be killed." And everybody else in the team says, "No, no, this is not our mission. Correct? This is not what we are asked to do." I'll play the clip now. How do I join? There's a way to feed the PC audio, correct?
Yes, sir. You can play it.
And where is the? Okay, hold on. I think I need to share it again with that box checked. Let me do that. Share PC audio. Include computer sound. Okay, different words, same meaning. Let me know when the slide comes up again, guys.
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes, sir. It is
All right.
visible.
So I'm going to play. All right, fantastic. I'm going to play this clip. And takes a couple of seconds to load. Well, more than a couple of seconds.
What is it? Machine gun. Probably MG42. Jesus. Is that what got those guys? Only one of them's on board.
No, the patches are 80 seconds, so your luck's not that good.
Yeah, I don't know how fast the rescue betties are. And I'm thinking we detour this way, quick and quiet. The crowd will never even know we were here. So, Captain, what I'm trying to say is why don't we just go around?
I hear what you're saying. We can't go on.
I'm with Robin on this one, sir. When we left them 88.
The Air Force. The Air Force isn't going to spin ordnance on one machine gun.
Captain. We can still skip it and accomplish our mission. I mean, this isn't our mission, right, sir?
And that's what you want to do. Just going to leave it here so they can ambush the next company that comes along?
So that's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying it seems like an unnecessary risk given our objective, sir.
Our objective is to win the war.
I'm going to play the last part once again.
This to them, leave it here so they can ambush the next company that comes along?
No, sir, that's not what I'm saying. I'm simply saying it seems like an unnecessary risk given our objective. Sir,
Our objective is to win the war.
I think you caught that, although audio is a little less. Our objective is to win the war. Everybody else is focused on this is the work we have been given. We have been told to go and save this soldier called Private Ryan, and we don't really need to risk ourselves just because an enemy camp falls in the way. But the leader knows, and he says, our objective is not that one person, that's a smaller objective. Our bigger objective is to win the war. And this will happen n number of times, guys, with us every day, every year, maybe every few hours, that we get so carried away with what we are doing that we will lose the sight of why we are doing it in the first place. Sometimes it happens that you are working on a problem for 6 months, which was fine when it started, but now that the situation has changed, it is no longer the best interest of the broader goal. But we are sentimental creatures, we get attached to things we are working on, and which is why we are hesitant to leave it aside. Okay, but if you develop this wherewithal to look at, are we still getting closer, get closer to your bigger objective every day. Correct. Now, one of my very close friends, who's in right now in the US, he's just been promoted from a development role to a managerial role, and he told me, okay, what should I do? And the very first thing you do is stop coding, right? Because your objective is now different. Your objective is not to write good code. Your objective now is to make sure your team writes good code. And every time you keep writing code, your team is not learning. You're not getting close to your objective. So the objective is to win the war. Okay. I'll give you one example from my experience also. So I was in a meeting. I was just promoted to team lead like 10, 12 years ago. So I started getting called to these strategy meetings. And I was sitting in a strategy meeting where somebody from the US had come and was telling us this is the way we should completely revise how HSBC technology works, right? And this is what we'll do. We will bring in. We will let our clients manage our teams, and we will let our clients do performance assessments of his team, and we'll get very closely integrated. And I was the junior most grunt at the table, and I didn't know anything about what's going on. But one thing I knew, that from the beginning, since I joined HSBC, we were told that we have to increase engagement level, try to get into the client's business, try and advise, just from writing code get into design, from design get into product management. So I very timidly put my hand up, and so all this is fine, all this is great, but aren't we going reverse? We are getting our client to come and manage us, whereas our objective was to get into the client's business and start managing their work, right? And it was a very genuine question from my part. But to give credit to the senior person, he just waited and he just looked at everybody in the meeting room one by one. And I thought, nah, I'm done for now. Okay. And he says, I think you are right. We should not do this at all. We should do something else. And there are two lessons here, right? It's important to realize when you have started moving away from your goal. And at that point, the harder thing to do is stop what you're doing and have the courage to say, yes, this is no longer the best time. And in my mind, my respect for the guy grew a lot, that he was willing to let go of something which was no longer towards the best objective. All right. The downside of it was I started getting called to a lot of other such meetings. And to be honest, I did not have this talent. It was just a one-off. Okay. And then my bosses got disappointed. यार एक meeting में तो इतना अच्छा कुछ बोल के गया, आगे क्यों नहीं बोल रहा? But the bigger objective is, your objective is not that one battle. Your objective is to win the war. Remember this lesson. Okay. Next one. There'll be n number of things going on. Okay. आजकल ऐसा नहीं होता कि आज मैं A करूंगा, कल मैं B करूंगा, परसों मैं C करूंगा. आप A करने जाओ, suddenly B urgent हो जाता है. B करने जाओ, उसमें 50 XYZ करके issues आते हैं. It's very easy to get carried away into the nitty-gritties of the thing. Once you, and this happens with us even when we are running CopperCloud, we start a day कि आज ये 3 चीजें करेंगे, and then once we get into discussion, ये कैसे होगा, वो कैसे होगा, we get carried away with the small things. Okay, so the lesson number 2 I want to share is focus on the main issue. There is a main issue and everything else is noise, which does not contribute to your way forward. Okay, the clip I am bringing here is a very beautiful movie called Apollo 13, where 3 astronauts are stuck inside a space capsule. They are running out of oxygen. They are running out of fuel. They don't have heating. They don't have food. And the job of NASA is to bring them back. And just look at the focus on that single point agenda that the mission controller has. Everybody is coming up with 20 different problems, but just look at the focus.
So you're telling me you can only give our guys 45 hours? That brings them to about there. Gentlemen, that's not acceptable.
We gotta talk about power here. Whoa, guys! Power is everything. Power is everything.
What do you mean?
Without it, they don't talk to us, they don't correct their trajectory, they don't turn the heat shield around. We gotta turn everything off. Now. They're not gonna make it to re-entry.
What do you mean everything?
With everything on, the LEM draws 60 amps. At that rate, in 16 hours, the batteries are dead, not 45. And so's the crew. We gotta get them down to 12 amps. How many? You can't run a vacuum cleaner on 12 amps, John. We gotta turn off. We have to turn off the radars, cabin heater, instrument displays, the guidance computer, the whole smack.
Whoa, guidance computer. Well, what if they need to do another burn? Gene, they won't even know which way to point.
The more time we talk down here, the more juice they waste up there.
But the re-entry batteries.
We've been tried before. Hell, we've never even simulated it before, Gene.
Well, we're gonna have to figure it out. I want people in our simulators, working re-entry scenarios. I want you guys to find every engineer who designed every switch, every circuit, every transistor, and every light bulb that's up there. Then I want you to talk to the guy in the assembly line who actually built the thing. Find out how to squeeze every amp out of both of these goddamn machines. I want this mark all the way back to Earth with time to spare.
That's what I mean by focus, guys. Right? People will throw things at you. This can't be done, that can't be done, and a lot of that will be right. Despite that, you have to drill through that and find the one thing that matters and matters the most, and get everybody to work on that. Okay, focus on the problem, not on why it can't be done. Right? So that's my lesson number 2. Focus on the issue. Focus on the main problem. Everything else is noise. Don't let that take you away. Okay. Just a check. So this audio is coming out clear that I'm playing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Good.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Third one is one of my favorites, right? Develop a talent stack. I don't know whether this word is common to you. This was invented by that. This is one more reason why I put the Dilbert comic strip at the top. The notion of a talent stack was invented by Scott Adams, who's the author of Dilbert. All right. So what's a talent stack? It's the entire mix of skills you bring to the table. Not one skill, not two skills, whatever it is you do well and contributes. That's called a talent stack, right? For this lesson, the clip I am bringing to you is from a very beautiful movie. It's called Pursuit of Happiness. All right, where a very underprivileged guy trains himself to become a stockbroker and thereby changes his life. And this is one of the places at the lowest point of his life where he's walking across, comes across a wildly successful person and just stops him and asks him 2 questions. I'll let the clip tell you what 2 questions, and the answer is beautiful.
Man, I got 2 questions for you. What do you do and how do you do it?
I'm a stockbroker.
Stockbroker. Oh. Had to go to college to be a stockbroker, huh?
You don't have to. Had to be good with numbers and good with people.
That's it. Hey, you
I'm going to play that last part again.
college to be a stockbroker, huh?
You don't have to. Had to be good with numbers and good with people.
That's it. Hey, you take care. Hey, I'm a...
You got to be good with numbers and you got to be good with people, right? And just generalize it. This is coming from a stockbroker. If you're a computer engineer, you got to be good at your core competency. Without that, there's nothing. You got to be good at code. You got to be good at computers. You got to be good at whatever, making presentations, and you got to be good at people. That's the minimum talent stack. Just being good at numbers or replace it with a core competency. They're called core competency, hygiene factors, what you must be good at. Okay. And you got to be good with people. If you can do these 2, you can be a successful stockbroker, right? But let's not stop here. Go back to what Scott Adams says about, and to be honest, right, this one statement almost changed my entire outlook, not just to how I perform my job, but how do I evaluate people who are reporting to me in how they perform their jobs and help them become better, right? And let's not stop here. Let me show you what Scott Adams himself says, the guy who invented the term talent stack. The idea of a talent stack is that you can combine ordinary skills, not extraordinary skills. You can combine ordinary skills until you have enough to become extraordinary. So ordinary skills in the right combination can make you extraordinary, right? All you need to succeed is to be good at a certain number of skills that fit together. Now take note, he's not saying great at. If you have only one skill, guys, you got to be great at it. Nobody should come within a mile of you, but it's very hard to do that. Okay, think of Olympics. How many people start playing sports? How many of them get to be at the Olympic podium? Correct. So being that top 0.1% is hard, very hard, but it's less hard to become the top 20% in a lot of other things. Correct. The kind of things Scott Adams talks about, and I've pulled this from his book, public speaking, right? Voice technique. How do you modulate your voice? How do you appeal to people? Voice is a very important part of making pitches. Okay. Psychology and persuasion, business writing, basics, fundamentals of accounting and finance and technology, conversation, overcoming shyness. You can't imagine how many people are afraid of standing up on a stage and talking. That's classified as number 2 or number 3 fear among all fears worldwide. Okay. A second language, especially it helps the Americans because Americans only speak English, right? Networking and getting the art to bond and create a rapport with people. Now this is a stack that Scott Adams recommends, but up to you guys. It's the entire whole wide world. Pick anything that you are decent at. You need to be above average. You don't need to be great at it. If you could be above average in 4 of these things, you got it made, right? But that's what they need to be complementary skills. They need to work together. Okay. So a brilliant piece of advice from Scott Adams right there. Number 4. And this is something I learned the hard way when I was starting CopperCloud. So there's a question from Priyanka. What is the name of Scott Adams' book? It is How to Fail at Everything and Still something. I'll forward you. It's like how to fail at everything and still be okay and still come out on top. Something like that. He has another bunch of books where he says that, Dilbert principle. Okay, where he's picked things from the comic and is really given good guidance. What I can do, Priyanka and everybody, is I have all these books out here, so I can share you links of them. I'll share it with Abhishek because I have his number. All right, Abhishek, please forward it to the rest of the group. Right. So pretty much good number of books out there. Okay. So the next one I learned the hard way twice in my career, right? Most recently when I set up CopperCloud, and first time without like 5 or 6 years in the experience. Okay. Don't wait to be ready. Okay. Many times we wait to feel the motivation. Yet I'm waiting for some magic to happen. I want to do this. I know it needs to happen. I have everything I need, but I have some anxiety inside. There's a little fear in the pit of your stomach, right? You feel it. Incidentally, जब कहते हैं ना कि हमारे पेट में butterflies हैं anxiety की, I thought it was just a figure of speech, but my daughter's doctor told me way back before my daughter had the first stage performance. सबको आजकल stage पे खड़ा करते हैं. For 1 whole week she had stomach ache, right? And we went to the doctor कि करना क्या है. Then the doctor asked out of nowhere, इसका national day आ रहा है क्या, annual day आ रहा है क्या? ऐसे आ रहा है. Like ये anxiety है. So anxiety genuinely physically manifests as stomach ache. Listen to what your stomach is telling you. All right. So many times we think यार करना है, सब अच्छा है, everything is good, but I'm waiting to feel ready. There's some magic should happen. I should feel something. I should feel a bolt of lightning. Yes, now you're ready. Go and make things happen. Or you're waiting for motivation. The first 6 months of starting CopperCloud, I left my job. And I was waiting for motivation for 6 months to do something. Okay. So the trick is you will never feel ready, especially if you're trying to do something really big, really scary, something you have never done before, something people around you are not ready for you to do, right? You will never feel ready, guys. Okay. You have to first do it and then you feel ready. And so many times I've seen this happen with me with other people. Some of you will also relate. You never wait for feeling ready. Just if you think this is the right thing to do, go ahead and do it, and then you will feel ready. Okay. For this, I have brought a clip from a. It's not a very famous movie. It's a movie called Three Kings, but it has some such jewels. Okay. So George Clooney, a very young soldier, comes to him, say, "I'm not ready for this plan. Okay, I'm scared." And he thinks that he should first feel brave and then do it. And look at the advice that his officer gives him.
Wait, hold on a minute. I want to go over this plan one more time.
You're scared, right?
Maybe.
The way this works is, you do the thing you're scared shitless of, and you get the courage after you do it, not before you do it.
That's a dumbass way to work. It should be the other way around.
I know. That's the way it works.
I'm going to play that part again.
Not before you do it. After you do it. You do the thing you're scared shitless of, and you get the courage after you do it, not before you do it.
That's a dumbass way to work. It should be the other way around.
I know. That's the way it works.
Right? That's the way it works, guys. The way this works is you do the thing that you're scared of, and then you get the courage to do it after, not before. So if you're waiting to feel the courage, feel the magic, feel the motivation, you'll wait for a very long time. Okay. So, and this is, I've personally experienced this. I've seen people personally get stuck just because they're waiting for some magic to happen. You have to make the magic happen. Okay. Number 5, right? A bit of a funny one. Most of the times we go through the rules, and which is good. Okay. I'm the last person who would recommend anybody to be a maverick, right? Play by on your own rules, society rules of other people. I'm not that kind of guy. But once in a while it happens that that the rules don't lead you to the right conclusion. Okay, where you need to take a decision and take accountability for it. Every time we are asking for permission, we are passing the buck to somebody, and most of the time that's fine. But when you know that this is the right thing to do, and the chain of command or the way the organization functions will not allow you to do it, ask for forgiveness. I didn't know. I did it. I didn't know. Sorry, next time nahi karenge. But you go ahead and do the thing that you're convinced needs to be done, right? The clip I have brought you, again, don't do it too often, otherwise you'll get branded as a maverick. Okay. So this is from a movie called Inglourious Bastards, about a bunch of spies, allied spies who are into Germany, and finally, the bad guy, the Nazi officer says, "Okay, I made a deal with your general. You take me to your general, and I'll be suitably rewarded." So the guy who is the blood of thousands of people on his hands is on his way to glory, where he'll surrender in a fake manner to the allies, and they will reward him, give him a house and give him a pension and everything. Okay, and look at what this guy does.
Officially surrendering myself over to you, Lieutenant Crane. Are you prisoners?
How about my knife? Thank you very much, Colonel. You'd bet you cuffed the Colonel's hands behind his back.
Oh, is that really necessary?
I'm a slave to appearances. Scalp Herman.
Where are you mad? What have you done? I made a deal with you, General, for that man's life!
Yeah, they made that deal, but they don't give a fuck about him. They need you.
You'll be shot for this?
Nah, I don't think so. More like chewed out. I've been chewed out.
Right? You'll be shot for this? Nah, I just been chewed out. I've been chewed out before. Because he knows that if I take this guy to the top command, then he'll be rewarded, not punished for all the bad things he has done. So he takes it into his own hands that morally, ethically, the right thing is for me to execute the punishment myself and to help with the consequences. Because if he asks permission, he's not gonna get it, right? Sometimes this happens a lot. Okay, I can give you dozens of examples, but I'll give you a funny example from my life. Most of examples from my life are funny for some reason. Okay, so I was just in team. I was the second in command of a team. My boss was a very dynamic person, very quick decision maker and all. And for some reason, he was under not a pressure, but a very strong persistence from other parties to take a new guy into our team and give him the charge of a very high impact project. That was not my project, but I was a trusted 2IC, deputy जिसको हम कहते हैं industry में, okay. And my boss said, get him in, give him, just interview him once, make sure he's okay. And then my boss went on leave. Now this guy, and I have one thing I've done well. I've not done many things well, but one thing I've done well in my career with HSBC is I've got really good information networks in all departments. So whenever I've hired somebody or whether somebody is affecting my project or my department, I've gone and उसका पूरा जन्म पत्री में निकाल के लाता था कि कब join किया, what project they have worked on, what is their reputation, how good of a leader they are. So ये सब मुझे पता होता था. And I knew this guy has a very poor reputation, okay, very toxic guy. तो जिस टीम में जाता था लोग छोड़ के जाने लगते थे. Okay, but my boss was under pressure that इसको तुम ये high impact project का इंचार्ज बनाओ. मैंने कहा ठीक है, बॉस ने बोला है इंटरव्यू तो करना पड़ेगा. So I got him in, I interviewed him for an hour and I kind of validated that what I think is right. This guy is not fit. But if I tell my boss, he's going to say, boss क्या करें, VP का है, उसको लेना पड़ेगा. So I rejected him and I put in the system, rejected, close the file. Once you close the file, it cannot be opened again. Okay. And then after a week, my boss came back and asked me, किस बंदे का क्या हुआ? आ गया? I कहा, sorry boss, you asked me, but I didn't find him suitable. And I ended up closing the file. What should I do now? And I was entirely expecting to be chewed out. Right? कि यार ऐसा कैसे कर दिया तुमने? My boss says, thank you, Abhijeet. I never wanted this guy in the first place. That's why I had asked you to interview him. Because I knew you would not take him. Okay. So this kind of thing happens. But I could have been chewed out. And that was fine. Okay. Because you have to, if you pass the buck, if you ask for permission, you are not taking responsibility. Unpopular stuff, you sometimes have to say, okay, the buck stops with me. I'll be chewed out, fine, no worries. But this is the decision that is going to happen. And many examples are like, so stand with what you believe and don't pass on the responsibility. Sometimes don't ask for permission, ask for forgiveness afterwards. All right. Right. The last one is not a movie clip, but this is my most favorite poster in the world. This poster has been there on my desk for last 10-12 years. Okay. And I like the way this is structured, that this comes from Star Wars, where Yoda is trying to mentor Pinakin, into the Jedi warriors, and Pinakin just doesn't have the confidence. He keeps saying, I'll try, I'm trying to do this. And Yoda says, do or do not. There is no try, right? And I have never experienced truer words. I changed the way I started talking to people after I bought into this philosophy. The moment somebody tells me, Abhijeet, I will try, मेरे माइंड में हो जाता है कि करने वाला नहीं है, right? The moment you say try, you're not committing yourself to something, correct? Fine, trial is good from a philosophical, never give up, or try and everything. But if you're gonna do it, do it. If you think it's not going to be possible, don't commit. Do or do not. There is no try. So we actually try to consciously eliminate the word try in terms of discussions. It doesn't give, it just feels good कि मैं कोशिश करूँगा. But what you're really saying is, boss, this is not going to happen. In this, Japanese are world masters in this. Okay, you will never hear the word impossible from Japanese. Okay, if something is impossible, they'll say it's difficult. If a Japanese guy says it's difficult, boss, it's not going to happen, no matter what you do. And so that's why, and Americans say that there is, impossible only says I am possible, an entirely different cultural perspective. So when a Japanese guy tells an American guy that it is difficult, American guy, oh, difficult, na, impossible hota to bhi kar lete, difficult to, it's difficult only. And the Japanese guy is trying to say it's not possible. So cultural nuances are there. But in your lives, I would strongly adopt this principle. Commit or do not commit. Don't keep things hanging. Don't tell try. Somebody may just keep waiting for you, whereas you just meant it to be polite. Do or do not. There is no such thing as try. Okay. So these are the 6 principles I wanted to talk to you about. I promised you this would be a short session. I wanted to bring in 15, 20, but probably we can do another session some other time. But why I'm showing you all this? This is not to beat somebody in competition. Okay. We spoke about, aim for the bigger goal. We spoke about you will never be feel ready. Do the thing, then you will feel ready. We spoke about be good with numbers, be good with people, which means develop a talent stack. You don't have to be extraordinary. You have to be better than average on 4 or 5 ordinary things, and then you become extraordinary, right? You need to take responsibility for things, right? You can't pass the buck. Sometimes it's better to ask for forgiveness than to ask for permission. And do or do not, there's no such thing as try. Uh, that's what I came here to tell you, not to beat other people at any game. This is not a game, right? This is our lives, our careers. The only person you need to get better than is yourself. So get better every day compared to where you were yesterday. Strive to become better every day. And because I want to follow principle number 6, cut that strive out. There is no try. Become better every day, right? So that's what I'm here to tell you. I hope this helped, and it'll help you somewhere down the line. Thanks very much for listening to me.
Sure, sir. This was actually a very different kind of session. We never had this type of session, and it was very engaging also. So, yes, I'm sure the audience must have enjoyed it. Thank you so much, sir, for being there and sharing your valuable time here. Thank you all for joining and have a nice meeting.
Ayush, wait a minute. I'd like to say something in front of others.
Yes,
Abhijeet, amazing way and amazing content. I think really talks volumes about you actually. The way you have, took out these 6 lessons of everything in life that you stand for. You've taken so much effort, and actually that movie clip, very, very, very nice way to put across things. And actually, I'm in awe of you now. Absolutely, it was so sundar. I think I would be better in Marathi if I express now. अतिशय सुंदर presentation झालं. It was too good. And we should, unfortunately, Ayush, I think you will agree with me that we should have had more number of people today. They have missed out actually.
No worries, ma'am. We will upload it on YouTube. Don't worry, ma'am. I will try to make it a better presentation.
Ayush, it's not about, I'm not, there's no negativity involved here, wherein we should have had more, nothing like that. I'm just saying that actually it was so much worth. Abhijeet, absolutely amazing content and presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Lot of claps.
Thank you so much, ma'am. All this stuff is stuff we have learned by observing others. So all I can do is pass whatever I felt useful forward. And I would insist everybody also, once you try this out, the best way to pay it back is pay it forward. Pass it on. Right? Thanks very much.
Thank you very much, Beta.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And
Thank you, sir.
Book references through Abhishek.
Yes.
Right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks, ecell. Bye.
Thank you.
Savannah.